The mother of a Texas college student is searching for answers after her daughter was found dead near campus on Saturday. Nate Foy has the latest. Hi, Nate.
Hey, Dana, good morning. So the mother of 19-year-old Texas A&M student Brianna Aguilera says police told her inconsistent information about her daughter's death. She thinks there's more to the story. Stephanie Rodriguez told a local TV station that she called police on Friday when Aguilera didn't answer her phone after attending the Texas A&M football game at the University of Texas in Austin. Police reportedly told her she had to wait 24 hours to file a missing persons report. A Good Samaritan then found her daughter dead outside a campus apartment complex. That happened at 1 a.m. Saturday morning. The mom says police didn't tell her until 4 p.m. later that day. She says investigators told her that Aguilera died by suicide, falling 17 stories to her death. But her mother claims text messages show a fight between Aguilera and another girl in the hours leading up to her death. The family put out a statement that reads in part, quote, Brianna attended the UT versus Texas A&M tailgate with friends at Austin. The details surrounding what happened next remain unclear, and her mother is still awaiting answers. Now, the mother claims Aguilera wasn't suicidal and looked forward to becoming a lawyer after graduation. Adding, quote, I've experienced every parent's worst fear, but I'm comforted by the knowledge that my Bree touched so many hearts. The medical examiner hasn't released the cause of her death quite yet, but right now Austin police confirmed they are not investigating this as a homicide. They tell Fox there are no indications of suspicious activity, but the investigation remains ongoing. I'll send it back to you, Dana.
Now a mother will always, at least if they believe they know their son or the son or daughter, they will never suspect suicide. Now we don't know because the medical examiner hasn't ruled yet, but like they said, the police are saying they're not even investigating because they're considering this a suicide. Well, we don't know what happened. But there are some crazy details. Let's get over into this next video. Well, let's finish up this video and then we'll get over into the next one.
All right, Nate, that's terrible news. Thank you.
You got it.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagna.
Nothing left. Let's get over into the next one.
Brianna Aguilera, a student at Texas A&M, was found dead hours after a football tailgate in Austin, Texas. And here is what we know. Brianna attended a tailgate on Friday, which was November 28th, reportedly getting kicked out after becoming too intoxicated, and then later returned to a friend's apartment. Brianna's mother says she stopped responding to her phone around 6 p.m. that night. Hours later, she was found outside of the apartment complex, unresponsive, and police are not investigating this as a homicide, telling her mother that she either fell 17 stories or jumped to her death from that apartment building. Brianna's mother, Stephanie Rodriguez, joins us now. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Let's back that up a tad bit. Let's look at that timeline one more time. So we got early afternoon. She attended the tailgate, intoxicated, so very intoxicated. She had to be kicked out, so very wasted. Returns to the friend's apartment. Brianna stopped responding at 6 p.m., so I'm assuming very intoxicated. Or maybe she was already intoxicated talking to her mother. But then she was discovered saying that she'd fell in 17 stories. How many stories they say? Something crazy. And died at 1 a.m.? Unless she kept drinking, I don't know. It is crazy.
Rodriguez joins us now. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you.
I know that you never thought you would be in this situation. As a mother, my heart goes out to you. So we all apologize and we're so sorry for what you're going through. But tell us what you know. What happened that day?
My daughter attended the tailgate. She left happily. She had just come home from College Station. We were expecting her around this time next week to stay for a month and a half. She left in the early hours of Friday around 8:30 a.m., arrived in Austin with her friends. She told me she had gotten there. She had shown me her outfit. She FaceTimed me. It was a rule. She was not allowed to put her phone on Do Not Disturb or even ever change her location. So when she stopped responding to my calls, which was around 6 p.m., that I noticed that her phone was on Do Not Disturb, I found it very skeptical.
Mhm.
Brianna would never do that.
So,
And so I just felt, I said, okay, maybe she's at the tailgate party. Her boyfriend didn't go with her. They're having issues. That's ultimately what I thought. But at the point of it being 11 p.m., and her not responding, her phone still pinging in the same area, but now in the woods, that's when I grew more speculation that was not right. I called Austin PD. I asked them to go to the scene of the tailgate party, but they told me that since it wasn't 24 hours that she had been missing, they couldn't go. They couldn't even do like a welfare check, nothing. And so they said you have to wait a couple of more hours, and if she doesn't turn up by the morning, then call again. She's probably intoxicated somewhere, asleep. She'll call you in the morning. Um, I I did that, but I was still, waking up, tossing and turning, checking her location. And when I woke up in the morning and it still showed there that it was at the complex center at Rugsby Complex Center, that's when I knew that something wasn't right. I had to prompt Austin PD to do a search, to go and search for my daughter, because, you know, as any mother, like, where's my daughter? How come she hasn't called me? That
mhm.
was never the case ever.
Now, there's a lot of things I can understand why she's worried about, but if she's overly intoxicated and had to be kicked out of the game, at least that's what they're reporting. I don't know if I can see it crazy that she would put her phone on do not disturb, but it I can understand how she has a lot of questions. Let's keep going.
And so finally, I came across a female officer who, by the grace of God, she touched her heart, and she was a mother too. And I said, please, like, I haven't spoken to my daughter since 4 p.m. yesterday. Like, this is almost going to be like 24 hours. Can you
Mhm.
please go and search for her phone? It was pinging off the same place, but now in the woods by a creek.
Mm.
We have all heard of the creek, murders and women and men turning up in creeks, by, I don't know what it's called in Austin, but there's been several murders that have been reported. And so at that point, she sent out a search team. But even at that, the officers were, I felt they were kind of like racist. They had asked me for the identification of my daughter, what race she was. When I said she was Hispanic, they kind of were like, oh, okay, well, can you send us the coordinates of the phone? Can you send us the picture of where the phone is pinging off? And I mean, I didn't have a problem with doing that, but that's what they get paid for. So, I mean, there's
I, I'm confused on how she's saying she's racist. How she's saying they're racist. But I might be missing something. I might be missing something. Let's keep going.
just been so many inconsistencies with this case. A lot of new details are coming to light. They found my daughter's phone eventually in her friend's
Mhm.
purse that was thrown in the woods. And shortly after 4 p.m., they called me back and they told me that um, my daughter's body had been found in a morgue.
A morgue?
So, where did they find who took the body to the morgue? Was she on the pavement below the apartment building and her purse and her phone were near a creek? And what are the people inside the apartment? I read that there were 15 people in the apartment with her.
Yeah.
What did they say? Did they see anything?
No one wanted to answer my phone calls. By this time, I had already spoken to her boyfriend. He had given me all the numbers to the people inside the apartment, and no one was answering. Um, I went ahead and called Austin Police Department again, and they weren't giving me any answers. When I heard the news that my daughter was dead, um, I couldn't believe it.
So
I
they're not
said,
in
no.
I'm sorry, they're not investigating it as a homicide. Let me read the statement from the
No,
police. This is
at
Austin
all.
Police. They say multiple detectives continue to interview witnesses, gather evidence, and work carefully through the details of this incident. At this stage in the investigation, the facts obtained do not indicate that this is a homicide. This case continues to be treated strictly as a death investigation, and there's no evidence to suggest or support any suspicious or criminal circumstances surrounding Miss Aguilera's passing. The cause of death will be determined by the Travis County Medical Examiner's Office. I know they're waiting on toxicology reports. They're saying it was either accidental death or it was a suicide, but you say your daughter was not suicidal.
No, she was not. And even
But the phone, see, okay, so the phone was found in the wooded area inside a friend's purse. That's very suspicious. We gotta wait for the medical exam. Let's keep going.
her father and I actually had to travel up to Austin to talk to the investigator, and we actually demanded to be switched detective because he was just very rude. Still super rude. I was planning my daughter's funeral today, and he was like, so do you want to see like where your daughter fell from? And we had been asking that when we were in Austin yesterday or Monday. I just thought it was very rude. He hasn't taken this investigation seriously. Everyone vacated the apartment. The person living at the apartment left. I am a mother of a college student who she was in college, and it's so hard to get out of a lease. You can't just leave,
Okay.
and so I said she was not suicidal. We looked at the rail.
Yeah. Well,
My
Stephanie,
daughter's not that tall.
Yeah, a mother knows. A mother knows when their child is suicidal or having depression issues. And you say that wasn't the case here. We're so sorry
Never.
for your loss. Hopefully someone will see this interview and come forward, because these college games.
It's a crazy situation. I can understand, but a lot of parents, even if they are suicidal, some won't know, some will know. But there's a lot of inconsistencies. We just got to wait for the medical examiner to come back. And then why is the phone in a wooded area in another friend's purse? It's a lot of weird things going on, y'all. Let's get over into this next video, see if they give us any more detail.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor and former NYPD inspector, as well as attorney.
You too.
Let's bring in Paul Morrow. Paul, it's a lot of stuff that's fluid. Typically, we had the mother on earlier this morning. A lot of things that she brought up is typical police officer procedure. But when you're a grieving mother, you don't know any of that. You don't hear any of that.
That's right. That's right. All you're thinking about is your family member. So let's tease out some of this. First of all, she has hit her majority. She's 19. She's an adult, right? Unless you have indicia of foul play, unless you have some really suspicious circumstances that indicate that the person as an adult is a danger to themselves or others, it's generally not carried as a missing person. This changed when the body was found. There are, however, some questions here, and you and I were talking about them offline. The main one that jumped out at me, and the fact pattern that we know, is that her phone was found in a friend's purse in the woods at a distance from where the body was found. Now, you have to say to yourself, what is the fact pattern that led to that?
Right.
There's a lot of interviews that have to be conducted here. You notice that the police are leaning very heavily on the ME report. They're saying, let's wait for the cause of death. They're likely going to want to see the toxicology before they make any big statements here. That can take a couple of weeks.
I'm about to just say the toxicology, just like what we saw with David's case or Celeste's case, it takes weeks.
Depending, because you have to test for various things, and some of them take longer. It may be a little while before the real facts emerge here. One thing I would say, though, is, it was a very cautious statement that the police put out. There was that series of deaths in Lady Bird Lake down there in Austin.
The mom talked about that.
She talked about that, and that's a patina that lays over this thing. And to be frank, that was never wonderfully handled by the Austin Police Department. I'm just going to be frank. I say that as a cop. I know what it's like on the police side of things, but I actually spoke to that agency, and their answer was essentially, we put out a statement, nothing to see here. They needed to do, I think, better in that one. And I think that in this one, to say now, we don't see a homicide, but we're waiting to see, I would have softened that, because we don't know what's going to come back from the ME unless they have some fact here, maybe video or something that they can really lean on. I think at this point you have to say, let's wait and see.
Copy that. I want to play this because this has become a big story because it talks about the crime that's happening in a place that you use the police, and that's New York City. This is a student recounting the assault that took place.
But that's it for the Texas A&M stuff. We're going to get over into this New York City stuff here in a second. But it's like the officer said, I can understand that the mother wants answers. They definitely don't sound like they're handling it well. At least that's my opinion. But it's understandable that she wants answers. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to wait for the medical examiner. If the police are saying that they don't have any evidence of foul play, we don't know how good their investigation was, but that's what they're saying. The medical examiner is going to give the final say. I never liked how, because she sounds like she's not in the loop with any of this. And it seems like that's a running theme with, especially with parents dealing with their children. It seems like the parents are at least not being caught up with the investigation. Or it could be they just don't get it in the time that they want. So, but it's a crazy situation, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know how you feel about it. But we're going to have everybody to remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.